Hello dear students, I am Mrs. Jagruti Mahajani. I am teaching geography in Deccan Education Society's D.E.S.Secondary School, Tirk Road, Pune. Today I am going to explain you lesson number 6, that is population. So we are going to study different aspects of population density in India and Brazil. So let us begin with the chapter with the help of a PPT. Okay, so dear students, here you can see in this image there are number of people just shown. So this is what we have to study in the lesson population. Now, population is a very important resource of any country. Dear students, you all know what is the meaning of a resource. Resource means something which is very important for the country and which is to be preserved for the future. So as we have different natural resources around us like the wind, the water, the forest, etc., which are very important for the present and which should be preserved for the future. Similar about population. When we talk about people in a particular country, it is an important human resource for any country. So this human resource, it should have some qualitative aspects which become very important for a country. So when we say qualitative means in a country there should be number of people who are more literate, they will earn a good living, they will earn a good salary, they will pay their taxes, those taxes will be utilized for the economy of the country. And thus that becomes a quality of population in a particular country. So human resources, they should have a qualitative aspect which becomes very important. So this human resource adds to the nation's economic and social progress. So when number of people are earning, they will be having purchasing power, they will be having spending power, there will be a social progress in the country, give and take of different thoughts will take place within the country and the country will develop economically and socially. So population is very important. Now when we define population, what is the meaning of population? Population means the number of people in a geographic area. So here we are just defining how much is the number of people in a particular area. So it can be 10 lakh people, it can be 50 lakh people, it can be crores of people. So we are just counting the number of people in a geographic area. So that defines the population. So we can use this word population for a subgroup of people or even for the animals. Now when we talk about population density, this is also very important for a country. Population density means number of persons living in 1 square kilometer area. So how many people can accommodate, how many people survive in 1 square kilometer area is the population density. Survival here means people are performing the various activities also like the primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, etc. So along with all the activities performed, how many people can live in 1 square kilometer area defines the population density of that particular country. Now dear students, here you can see map of India. So one map is here in this particular image. It shows the population distribution. So with the help of dots and hence it is a dot map. In this second map, population density is shown with particular color scheme. So such type of map is called as a choropleth map. Now in both these maps, you can see that in this particular northern Ganga plain region or the plain region, the population and population density is very, very high. In the central India also, it is moderate. In this region also, you will see population density is moderate. In the northern part, extreme northern part of India, you will see that population distribution and density of population has become less. Similarly, in the extreme eastern division, eastern side of the Indian subcontinent, population distribution and population density, you can see both are very, very low. So what are the reasons for it? Let us study. Now, population was around 121 crores according to 2011 census. In India, the total number of people were around 121 crores according to 2011 census. So definitely it has changed now. It will be increasing. India is the second most populous country in the world. It occupies 2.41% of the land area, total geographical land area of the world, and supports 17.5% of the world's population. When we talk about the population density, on an average, the population density of India is 382 persons per square kilometer. Of course, this population density was as per 2011 census. So this has definitely changed now. Now when we see this map, as we have already discussed that the population distribution is different in the northern region, in the extreme northern and the eastern division region of India. In the central India, it is again different, and in the southern or the Deccan Plateau is also different. So we can come to the conclusion that population is unevenly distributed. It is not evenly distributed. So on what basis can we say? We can say this on the basis of physiography and the climate. So in third chapter, we had already studied about the physiographic divisions of India. So definitely, according to the plains, plateaus, mountains, coastal areas, the population distribution is different. It is not the same. In the northern plain region, since it's a flat land, it's a plain region, population density is very, very high. And so the distribution of population is also very, very high. Even climate is also important. Climate plays a very important role for the population distribution. Now, when we talk about the extreme northern tip and the eastern tip of India, we can say these are the hilly areas. So again, there are extreme topographical regions. The physiography is very, very steep. Climate is also extreme. So thus population distribution becomes less. Now when we talk about the plateau region, now here in the plateau region, the population density becomes moderate. As the climate is also good, climate is moderate, people are distributed moderately in the Deccan region of India. So physiography and climate play a very important role in the population distribution. As already discussed, this particular region, the northern Ganga plain region, since it has a fertile land, as river Ganga and its tributaries have brought so much of sedimentation and settled it in this plain region, so the land becomes fertile. It's a plain land, and thus you will find agriculture is done on a larger scale, so population concentration can be found. Availability of water, availability of human settlements is also established in this particular region. So since the land is flat, river is flowing, fertile soil is available, water is available for agriculture, for fishing, for transportation. So that becomes a very important factor for human settlement in this northern plain region. And thus you will find that maximum population concentration, maximum population density will be found in this particular region. So farming, industries, trade, concentration of population is found because of all these factors. in the northern plain regions of the country. Now, as I discussed, this particular region, because of the fertile land, farming is available, depending on the farming, industries are there. So definitely primary, secondary, tertiary activities are on a larger scale, so population concentration will be found. Other regions are Delhi. Again, in the northern area, you will find more population concentration. In the eastern region, eastern part of India, Kolkata. In the western part of India, Mumbai region, you will find Mumbai, Pune. And in the southern Deccan India, you will find Bengaluru, Chennai. These are the regions where population concentration is found. Population is more because of the availability of farming practices, industries, trade and commerce, etc. But when we talk about the mountainous and the hilly areas, population becomes very, very less. Similarly, in the western region, we have Marusthali, a dry desert region. So in these areas, again in this particular region, population density becomes less. Again, in the extreme eastern region, there are dense forest areas which are highly inaccessible, and there are absence of facilities and a very tough life people have to spend. So thus population distribution becomes very, very sparse, becomes very, very less, and so the population density is also very, very less. Now coming to Brazil, the same way this map shows the population distribution with the help of dots, thus it's a dot map. This map shows population density with the help of different colors, color scheme. So thus it's a choropleth map. So here in these maps, you can see that the northern, extreme northern and the central part of Brazilian region is completely having very, very less population. Similarly, here also you will find population density is very less. Towards the east, you will find population concentration, population density is very, very high. Thus, in some parts of Brazilian region, population becomes high. In some regions, it is less. Now, when we talk about Brazil, it is most populated country in the South American continent. Its population was around 19 crores according to 2010 census. It ranks 5th in the world, and also it ranks 5th with respect to the area, the total area. It ranks 5th in the world. It occupies 5.6% of the world's total land and has 2.78% of the world's total population on this particular land. Density of population is around 23 persons per square kilometer. Again, this is according to 2010 census. It must have definitely increased. Now, when we talk about the distribution, same as it was found in India, here also there is uneven population distribution. You can see these areas have very less or very sparse population. The coastal areas, somewhat highland areas will have high population. So this population within 300 kilometers of the eastern coastal plain, because of the agriculture, because of the industries which have flourished, it is high in these particular region, and where density of population also becomes very, very high. In the Amazon basin, now here this particular region, river Amazon and its hundreds of tributaries are flowing, so it becomes a very thick, densely forested region. So it has very sparse population, very, very less population. Being on the equatorial area, high rainfall, the region is of very heavy rainfall, and thus it has unfavorable climate too. Too much of humidity, too much of rainfall, which gives rise to or you will find many insects, many reptiles which are found in this particular region, in the Amazon region. And it is also inaccessible because of the dense forest. So that is why you will find very, very less or very low population in the Amazon basin. Only few tribes might be living in that particular area. Central and western part of this country is having less population. Density of population is high or too moderate in the highland regions. Now, when we talk about population, we have to study about the population composition. Up till now, we have just seen how many number of people, the total count of the people or density of people, population in 1 square kilometer area. Now, we are going to study the population according to its characteristics, such as the age ratio, the sex ratio of that particular region. So when we have to define, when we have to describe the population composition, it's the description of a population according to the characteristics of the people in that particular area. So the first one is the sex ratio. It means the definition is number of females per 1,000 males in a region. In some countries, it may be number of females per 100 males in a region. But in India, we study sex ratio as number of females per 1,000 males in a particular region. Now here you can see this graph. It's a type of simple line graph. This line graph shows the sex ratio from 1961 to 2011, both in Brazil and in India. So we can conclude from this graph that number of women in Brazil have always been more. As you can see, it is more than 1,000. Even in 1961, in 71, 81 and so on. And after 2001, it has increased considerably. So number of women are more than the number of men in Brazil. So considerably, it has been increasing from 2001. So again, this is according to 2011 census. In 2020, definitely this ratio must have changed. When we talk about India, in India, number of women have never been more than the men. So here you can see it is just 840 in 1961. It was less in 1971. So this change, this is continuously changing. This number, there are fluctuations in the sex ratio since few decades. There is a slight increase here. You can see from 2001, you can see there is a slight increase in the number of females in India. So we can conclude that still the status of women is very low in our country, in India. And that's why the female ratio is also low. But definitely now it is increasing because of the education, because of the importance. The number of females, the sex ratio is increasing in India. Another way to study population is the age and the sex pyramid. So to study the age and sex related aspects of a region's population, we study it with the help of a pyramid. So the y-axis of the pyramid shows the age group. The x-axis shows the population or percentage of population in a specific group. The left side always shows the male population and right side always show the female population. So this is the age pyramid or the age and sex pyramid. Here you can see this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. So y-axis will always show the age groups according to that particular region. The y-axis will show number of people, percentage of population in a particular region. The left hand side is always represented by males, right hand side is always represented by females. So here you can see in both these pyramids of Brazil according to 2016 and India 2016, you can find that the number of young people is more in both the countries because the base is broad. So at the base we have young population, and as you go towards the apex, that is the tip, you will find it is the old population. So both in Brazil and in India you will find number of young generation, young people is more than the old people. Old people are less in number. So the proportion of children is more in India. Proportion of people in the age group above 80 is more as compared to India. It is more in Brazil. So we can conclude that in Brazil the population is getting slowly older because you will find that the number of old people are more, and in India proportion of youth is more. So you can see this particular, the base is also very broad and the middle age group is also broader. So proportion of youth is more and hence higher working population is found in India. The third important aspect of population composition is the population growth rate. Now here you can see again it's a simple line graph. In this we are showing the growth rate of population in Brazil and in India both. Now the lines show a downward trend. You can see here even this is in Brazil it is moving downward. In India somewhat it was high in 1971. Then it again started decreasing up to 2011. But it doesn't mean that the population is decreasing. Here we are not talking about the population. We are talking about the population growth in percentage. So because the facilities were available to control the population or the birth rate was controlled, that's why the population growth is decreasing. You can find the trend, it is decreasing. So it shows that the growth is lesser than the previous decade. Looking at the trend in the near future, we can say that Brazil's population will decrease. It is going to decrease considerably. Now here again Brazil, you will find that there is reduced population growth. The growth rate is declining and it may not increase in few decades. So the population, you will not find population increasing in Brazilian region. But in India it has increased from 2001 to 2011 and somewhat it is now being controlled. So it increased by 18.2 crores. So it was higher, very high population rate, high birth rate maybe in till 1971. Then it stabilized to somewhat extent. Now you can find it is declining. So birth rate has been totally controlled and that's why population growth has been controlled to somewhat extent. But still because of migration we can say the population is still growing in India. Coming to the life expectancy. Life expectancy means on an average how many years a person born in a particular country is expected to live. So that is called as the life expectancy. Now this life expectancy is different according to the developed, developing and the underdeveloped region. So average number of years definitely change according to the developed region, the developing and the underdeveloped region. So this life expectancy is an indicator of development of a society. If maximum people in a particular country are healthy, they live up to a greater age. So definitely development will be different. So as the age increases, If the family, if the country has to spend more on their medication, on the health and sanitation, then there is an economic loss of the country. But if the people are healthy, it is an indicator of development of a society. So if there are improvement in health facilities right from the small children up to the old age people, if in a country all the people are getting good health services, good health facilities, if there is progress in the medical field, there is access to nutritious food at each and every level from the childhood to the old age, then you will find that there is very high life expectancy in a particular country. Most of the developing countries, the life expectancy is still less, and in the underdeveloped countries, it is definitely very, very less. Why it is less? Because health and sanitation facilities, medical facilities, nutrition, it is not given or it is not provided to the population. So you may find that the death rate is more, the infant mortality rate may be more. So that is why in developing or in underdeveloped country, the life expectancy is still very, very less. Now, on an average, in Brazil, if you see here, you can see with the help of this line graph, on an average, the life expectancy in 2016 was 75. So it means that people on an average live up to 75 years of their age. Now here in India, it was very, very low. Still it is very low. So here, according to 2016, the life expectancy was 68 years on an average, which is still very, very low. So if proper medical facilities, health facilities, nutrition is provided to the people, the life expectancy can be grown in a particular area. So this is all about the life expectancy. The last one is the literacy rate, which is very important for any country. So what is literacy? What do you mean by literacy? The literacy means ability of a person to read and write with understanding. So when a person is able to read and write his name or some mathematical calculations, if he can do, it is called, or that person is called as a literate person. So if literacy rate is high in a particular country, development will be more. But along with the literacy, the country should be provided with all the facilities. The quality of the people should be increased. Then only there will be development in a particular country. So in Brazil, we can see the literacy rate is quite high. It was 92% in 2016, which in India still it's low as compared to the population. The literacy rate is still low in India, which is just 72.2% according to 2016. So this has definitely increased after 2001. So 1991 it was 48.2 and suddenly in 2001 it was 61%, a very huge gap, and then it is increasing. So definitely in 2020 the literacy rate must have increased. This literacy rate helps to know about the economic, social, cultural development of particular country. So here we come to the end of the chapter. We have studied about all the aspects of population. Thank you. So dear students, in this chapter we had studied that how population distribution, density of population is uneven in India and Brazil. We had also studied about the population composition related to age, sex, literacy, life expectancy, etc. in both India and Brazil. Hope you have understood the lesson and you have enjoyed the lesson. Thank you.